Hi everyone, I am Jessica from Unseen File. What do you think about a flawless idol? Someone a whole nation called their younger brother, suddenly becoming the ultimate symbol of injustice and capitalist privilege. Today, we are deconstructing the truth about Jackson Yi, one of the most powerful yet controversial names in the Chinese entertainment industry today. Let us start with what we all think we know. A talented, hardworking, and extremely private young man. Within the boy band TF Boys, Jackson Yi was initially seen as the underdog, the quiet one in the shadow of his bandmates. But then, he transformed himself into the youngest best actor in history with gritty, complex roles. His career looked like a perfect script for success, based on pure merit. But is that really the whole story? Or was it all a carefully choreographed play staged by a massive capitalist empire behind the scenes? Everything began to crumble in July 2022, an event that insiders call Postgate or the civil service scandal. For ordinary people, passing the entrance exam for the National Theatre of China is a battle for survival, where thousands of talented individuals trade sweat and tears for a stable position. Yet, Jackson Yi's name appeared on the admission list without going through any public examination process. You heard that right. A young multimillionaire, a superstar earning hundreds of millions of yuan a year, was competing for a government position intended for poor, fresh graduates. The wave of fury erupted like a massive tsunami. The public was not just angry about a job position, they were outraged because their belief in fairness had been trampled upon. Why would someone who already has everything still want to seize the small opportunities of others using their privilege? The nickname Privilege Prince was born from this moment. It was not just a sarcastic title, it was the contempt of the working class for the greed of the elite. Looking deeper into the reaction from Jackson and his team, we see a terrifying silence. This silence did not feel like his usual modesty. It felt like arrogance, a look down from above by those who hold all the power. Although he eventually announced his withdrawal from the position, that late apology could not save the image of the nation's brother, which had already been shattered into pieces. Trust is the most fragile thing, and once it is broken, all subsequent efforts just look like clumsy patchwork. I have analyzed many files here at Unseen File, and this case reveals a massive flaw in how the industry operates. Why did such a huge scandal fail to completely take down his career? Could it be that major awards and luxury contracts are still being protected by a network of power that we cannot see with the naked eye? This is no longer a story about a star taking an exam. It is a story about how capital manipulates social values. This image collapse is just the tip of the iceberg. If you think losing public favor was the heaviest price he had to pay, you are mistaken. The truly terrifying part lies in what is happening in the shadows, where the chess pieces are being rearranged to protect the massive asset known as Jackson Yi. We cannot ignore a crucial detail. Why, in the middle of the storm, was he still able to calmly appear on the covers of major magazines and secure key film projects? We need to ask questions about true fairness in the entertainment world. Is talent really the only ticket to the top, or is it just a perfect cover for underground deals? Jackson Yi is perhaps a victim of the massive expectations he created, or perhaps he is an active participant in the game of the privileged. This scar will follow him for the rest of his life. Whenever people mention hard work, they will remember the scandal. Whenever people mention talent, they will remember the privilege. This is the beginning of the darkest chapter in this young star's career, where every spotlight is shadowed by doubt. But this scandal was only the opening shot, because behind every prince is a dynasty with tangled networks of power that we are about to deconstruct. How strong is that power network, and who is really pulling the strings behind the image of Jackson Yi? We will dive into the capitalist forces and his true family background in the next part of the script. To understand how a star can stand firm after a media storm strong enough to sink anyone else, We cannot just look at the person themselves. We must look at the ghosts standing behind them. At Unseen File, I have conducted a deep investigation into the power structure surrounding the name Jackson Yee. And what we found is truly chilling in terms of how the elite operate. Many people still believe in the story of a boy from the provinces who went to Beijing and used his blood, sweat, and tears to achieve success. But the truth about Jackson's family background is a much more complex picture. His father, a low-profile businessman with a vast network of connections in the financial and entertainment sectors, is believed to be the one who laid the first bricks for the empire, named after his son. This is not an ordinary family. This is a family with a sophisticated mindset for asset and brand management since Jackson was just a child. Have you ever wondered why top-tier global luxury brands still cling to Jackson even when millions of fans turn their backs? It is not because they are blind, but because in the world of capital, data and influence are things that can be purchased and directed. A network of family companies and strategic partners has created a steel shield to protect his commercial value. They are not selling an artist. They are operating a massive money-making machine. Look at how major awards are handed out. In the world of entertainment, there are secrets that no one dares to say out loud about how a young actor, despite having talent but lacking seniority, can continuously sweep the most prestigious awards. Is it entirely a recognition of art? Or is it the result of trade-offs between entertainment corporations and the gatekeepers? Jessica and the Unseen File team have noticed a strange coincidence between large sponsorship deals and the timing of award announcements. Capital never invests in things that do not bring a profit, and building the image of a best actor for Jackson was the highest yielding investment. This manipulation is even more horrific in the aspect of media. Do you find it strange that sharp, critical articles about the privilege scandal often vanish at lightning speed? Sensitive keywords are filtered, and dissenting accounts have their interactions restricted. That is the power of money. The capitalist forces behind Jackson have established a tight information control system to the point where they can reshape reality according to their will. They do not need to change the truth. They just need to make it so you can no longer find that truth. But true power does not lie in silencing public opinion. It lies in directing it. When the scandal broke out, instead of direct confrontation, they began launching promotional campaigns about his loneliness and the pressure of fame, turning Jackson from a wrongdoer into a victim of the system. This is a masterclass in psychological warfare aimed at eliciting empathy from the most loyal fans. They turn questions about privilege into stories of misunderstood effort. However, in a world where information is no longer a monopoly, the cracks in this network are beginning to show. Viewers today are smarter. They are starting to question the transparency of the key film projects Jackson participates in. Why is it always him? Why do big directors always choose him, even when there are other more suitable options? The answer lies in the capital. When you control the flow of money into a movie, you have the right to decide who stands under the spotlight. Jackson Yee now resembles a symbol of contradiction. On one hand is undeniable artistic talent, on the other is a total dependence on the capitalist machine. He is like a phoenix, raised in a glass cage, with the most expensive food, but that cage was built with materials that ordinary people can never touch. This power can take you to the highest peak, but it is also the very rope that can tighten at any moment if you no longer bring value. We are living in an era where the success of a star sometimes no longer belongs to them. It belongs to those who sign the checks, those who coordinate the algorithms, and those who own the social platforms. Jackson is a perfect product of this system, a model that every entertainment conglomerate wants to copy. But what is the price for this absolute protection? It is the freedom and the humanity of the artist himself. As we peel back each layer of this network, we see a harsh truth. Jackson may also just be a high-level pawn in a much larger game. He is protected not because he is unique, but because the amount of money poured into him is too large to let it go to waste. But if one day his value no longer compensates for the trouble he brings, will this dynasty still protect him? The veil of mystery over capital has been partially lifted, but there is another corner that few have touched: the mental state and the isolation of a person turned into a money-making machine since the age of 13. What does a human living under absolute control look like when the stage lights go off? We will step into the dark inner world and the little-known truths about Jackson's personality in the next part of the program. Do not take your eyes off Unseen File, because what is coming next will show you a completely different perspective on the glory. In the previous two parts, Jessica and the Unseen File team have deconstructed the shocking scandals and the massive capitalist network behind Jackson Yee. But there is a question that always haunts me when conducting this investigation. Behind that cold and perfect Best Actor mask, is there a real human being living there? Or is it just a pre-programmed machine? To understand Jackson's terrifying silence in the face of every storm, we must go back in time to when this boy was only 13 years old. Imagine a child who has no childhood in the true sense of the word. While other kids were playing, Jackson was already undergoing rigorous training schedules, constantly moving between cities and living under the observation of millions of eyes. Loneliness was not something he chose. It was something he was forced to adapt to in order to survive. At Unseen File, we believe that his silence is not necessarily a natural personality trait, but a defense mechanism. When you live in an environment where every word and every gesture can be turned into a tool to attack you or make money, silence is the only way to keep something for yourself. But what is the price of this silence? It is the complete disappearance of humanity in the eyes of the public. Jackson gradually became a product rather than a person. He was molded to be the ideal model: smart, multi-talented, polite, and most importantly, never complaining. Capitalists love this. An artist without a big ego, easy to control, and always compliant with contracts is an open gold mine. You see, they do not need an artist with a free soul. They need a money-making machine that can operate 24/7 without causing trouble. The doubts about Jackson's true personality have always been a hot topic. There are rumors among insiders that his coldness on screen is actually a state of emotional emptiness after too many years of being worn down by pressure. When you have to play so many roles, from a teenage idol to gritty characters in movies, do you still know who you are when you stand in front of a mirror? Jessica believes that Jackson's loneliness does not lie in having no one around him, but in his inability to connect with the world through his true self. Every relationship and every interaction is controlled by a strict management apparatus. We also need to look at the contradiction in the image of the true artist he is building. Are those roles of suffering and torment on screen a way for him to release the pent-up frustrations of real life? Or is it just another part of the marketing strategy to cover up the emptiness inside? At Unseen File, we observe a harsh truth. The more successful he becomes in terms of fame, the further he moves away from connecting with the community. He lives in a bubble of power and wealth, where praises hide critical voices, but at the same time, it isolates him from social reality. Another noteworthy point is the spiritual dependence on the family and the team. When a person is directed from childhood by parents and expert consultants, the ability to make personal decisions will wither away. The privilege scandal was perhaps not Jackson's personal intention, but a mistake by the machinery behind him that was too confident in its own power. But in the end, the person who had to endure all the stones and the collapse of the image was him. That is the tragedy of a prince, someone who enjoys every privilege but has no true freedom over their own life. The more I analyze, the more I feel sympathy rather than just criticism when looking at his human side. However, we cannot use loneliness to justify the mistakes of privilege. A machine, whether it is faulty or controlled, is still causing consequences for social fairness. The truth about Jackson's personality may forever remain a mystery, because he himself is lost in the maze of glory and money that he cannot escape. Can a person who has been framed in artificial perfection for over a decade truly change? Or is what we are seeing just a final effort to save an empire that is showing signs of cracking? The long-standing silence is gradually becoming a suffocating pressure. And 2026 is the time when all that pent-up energy must break out. What signals is the current Jackson Yee trying to send through his dark and gritty film projects? Is it true maturity, or just a new mask to whitewash the scandals of the past? We will go to the final part of the script to analyze the rebrand strategy and the future of the name Jackson Yee in 2026. Do not miss this conclusion, because the final truth may completely change the way you look at the entertainment industry. Entering 2026, we are seeing a very different Jackson Yee. No longer the young man in polished designer suits on the red carpet, he has been replaced by a man with a weathered face, scars, and roles so gritty they border on extreme. At Unseen File, Jessica asks a major question. Is this a profound leap in artistic maturity? Or is it actually a calculated rebrand strategy designed to wipe away the Privilege Prince label for good? Look at how his new film projects operate. Jackson is choosing scripts with deep social themes and playing characters from the bottom of the social ladder. This is an incredibly smart move by the capitalist machine behind him. The best way to make people forget you used privilege is to play someone who has no privilege at all. By embodying suffering characters, Jackson is attempting to reset his emotional connection with the public, triggering the compassion and empathy that were frozen after the civil service scandal. But from the perspective of an analyst at Unseen File, I see a ridiculous contradiction. A man holding absolute power in his hands is trying to convince the audience that he understands the pain of the marginalized. Jackson's talent is real, and his performances are compelling. But does sincerity actually exist? Or is every tear on screen converted into a score to boost his credibility with experts and cultural regulators? 2026 is a year where competition in Cbiz is fiercer than ever, and possessing the image of a dedicated artist is the only lucky charm to survive the purges of the authorities. Furthermore, we see a new media strategy, a total withdrawal from variety shows and social media. Jackson is building a wall of mystery around himself. In an era where everything is too flashy, mystery creates a luxury value. This helps him avoid tough questions from the press and minimizes the risk of making a mistake in speech. But at the same time, it reveals the truth that he cannot face public opinion directly. He can only communicate through fictional characters on a screen. The future of Jackson Yee in 2026 and beyond will depend on whether the audience is willing to accept this new version. There is a harsh truth in the entertainment industry. Time can erase many things, but it cannot erase injustice. The poor students who were stripped of their opportunities in 2022 have grown up now, and they are the ones who will continue to question the integrity of a national idol. Talent can get you good roles, but only ethics and fairness can help you keep the hearts of the audience. Ultimately, the story of Jackson Yee is not just the story of an individual. It is a mirror reflecting the operation of an entire entertainment industry, built on capital and power. A system can create gods, but it can also turn them into puppets in a glass cage. Jackson will likely remain a Best Actor and continue to receive prestigious awards, but that glory now always carries a different color, the color of doubt. Jessica and Unseen File want to leave you with one message. Do not just look at the bright stage lights. Look at the shadows behind them. Do not just listen to the praise. Listen to the voices that have been suppressed. The truth about Jackson Yee may never be fully exposed, but through what we have analyzed, I hope you have a more multidimensional and sober view of idols and power. Thank you for following this special file on Unseen File. I am Jessica, and we will return with even more shocking corners of the entertainment world in the next videos. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any truths that have never been published. Goodbye, and see you again.